My letter is for my 9-month-old daughter, Felicity, who has had to be with me in lockdown that happened before everyone else did, because I have chronic health issues. And I want her to know that although this was a very difficult and challenging time for everyone, she still managed to do new things and live within our flat. My Felicity. This coronavirus has taken the country by surprise. Everything has changed beyond the nation's wildest imagination in the past few months. The world suddenly got a slight dip into the sea to the isolation that so many chronically ill people, Mummy included, live with every day. After 5 weeks of lockdown in the UK, the general public seemed to feel lost as they struggled to grasp with what their purpose is in this pandemic. Most of them are bored and are finding the rules hard to follow. You know what, little Felicity? It isn't hard. It's not a challenge to stay in a room with you beaming at me. It's not really a challenge to have to keep patient whilst you are screaming, because I know that by shielding, I'm actually saving both your life and mine. You see, every day is special with you in it. That includes the days when you are crying because you are teething, as well as the moments when you just start to giggle at me for making a funny noise. You could have all the toys in the world, but I know that actually you will be the most content little baby when you are playing peekaboo with me. The funny thing is, Felicity, I am so used to having to be in self-isolation. I spent over a decade, I know, I am really, really old, stuck inside one room. Although my life then could be frustrating and I suffered a hell of a lot, I wasn't sad and I still contributed to society. That is the beauty of technology. I was still very present in the world, even from a distance. In some ways, it feels a relief that it is not just us suffering quietly, and that everyone is in a similar boat to one another. I want you to know that in this time that we are having to stay at home, we are still living. You don't have to always be on the go to live. Hopefully, I've taught you that, little one, in the time you've been with us. Our little trio of Taylor-Bearmans have always led a simple but fulfilling life. And just because I can't go on walks with you in my wheelchair now, doesn't mean that our world has stopped. Remember, you are mine and Daddy's world, and nothing could just stop you. You smile and laugh every day, and it is true to say that no matter how much I try, you still cry at night because you don't want to go to sleep in case you miss anything. You painted for the first time, and your lips went blue as you tried to eat the paint. Your first creation was a plate of colours, which looked like a pastel-coloured rainbow, perfect for the rainbow trail that all the children in lockdown have been putting in their windows and sending into hospitals. We painted Easter cards together, and you really didn't like to be told what you had to do, which makes me chuckle, because that fierce independence is something you get from me. We let you loose on a bowl of jelly, and the delight on your face as your hands sloshed and squelched through it was wonderful, even though the texture made us adults feel sick. You giggled and mixed the remainder of your broccoli into the jelly, which was disgusting. Daddy had many kitchen disasters, but his funniest one was when he tried to bake a chocolate cake. We let you stir the mixture, and your face lit up as I let you loose on the spoon. Even though you loved every second, Daddy somehow managed to make the cake taste bitter when it had finished cooking. I'm not sure I know anyone who has managed to make a cake bitter. You giggled at the disgust on Daddy's face, and we all laughed together. You have sat on your nanny's lap, as she had to stay with us to be a carer for me. She cuddled you whilst I was lying in bed in agony. And when the pain got too much for me, you cuddled into my side and we both finally fell asleep together. You are the greatest comfort. I haven't even begun to talk about all the food you are now eating. You devour your porridge in the morning and try new foods all the time. Considering the fact that we were struggling to get you to eat anything a few months ago, this is such progress. In this lockdown time, you said your first word. You were 8 months old when you first said hello, and it was the most incredible miracle to watch.
What?
You are now sitting up on your own, and those clothes that looked absolutely huge when we were given them are now the right size, if not a bit small. I know that when you grow up and go to school, you will be taught about the war we faced with a virus that just kept taking more loved ones as victims. The ultimate price. I don't want you to think of this time and be scared or sad, because although there were horrendous moments, you will learn about how the world came together in unity, how we would all stand at the doors of our homes every week and clap for all those key workers who put their life on the line for us. There were random acts of kindness every day, including the kind man who went to collect your prescription milk for me because we couldn't leave our flat. Countries stopped fighting one another and all wanted to do the same thing, to save lives. When you look at that, Felicity, it was a time where people chose their destiny. A choice few chose to defy the rules that were set out for our safety, but then everyone else played their part. They stayed at home. They understood for a moment in time what some people have to live with for a lifetime. Yes, it was a challenge not to be able to see people in person, to hug relatives and friends. So don't ever underestimate that. I hope that we will come out of this as a society, knowing how precious every single part of the world we live in is. That we may know the true value of a hug and to feel another person's touch. But for a brief spell, we have had time to live in the now, not be stuck in the past or dreaming of the future. We live every day as it comes in the present. Lots of love from Mummy.